I have with me Mr. Joseph McMonigle, Secretary General International Energy Forum. Sir, welcome to Abu Dhabi to ADIPEC. Let me start by asking you the question, the $1 million question. Can energy companies continue what they are doing and keep their promises when it comes to fighting climate change? How effective can they be?
Well, number one, I think they have to. I think, for example, the UAE and Saudi Arabia have a very special role to play because they not only have to supply the energy to supply the security of the world and the global economy to keep the economy running, but they at the same time are being trailblazers in all these new transition technologies like hydrogen and carbon capture, use, and storage. And so we have to be able to do both. We have to be able to walk and chew carbon at the same time. And the transition is going to take very long, and we can't let an energy crisis like we have today really develop. We need to keep an eye on climate, but not let climate turn into an energy crisis.
Are you optimistic about the future of decarbonization?
I am. I think something very evident from this conference is that there is a lot of private money focused on carbon capture, use, and storage. And in addition, up until very recently, in terms of country investment, it's really been limited. Carbon capture, use, and storage has really been limited to the U.S. and Norway, the U.K. and Australia. But now you have Saudi Arabia and the UAE coming with big projects and also big dollars. And I know we throw around this word game changing a lot, but if they're coming to the table and are serious about it with serious dollars, I think it will have a huge impact.
Can we decarbonize and provide the energy the world needs today?
I think so, and I think we have to. As I said, we can't let a climate crisis turn into an energy crisis. We have to keep an eye on energy security and stable markets. And one of the things I'm most concerned about as it relates to the energy crisis and work on climate is that these higher prices and volatility that we're seeing today, and I think we can see in the next couple years because of the supply crunch, mainly caused by the pandemic, but also because we may be rushing carelessly on some of the energy transition avenues. I think we risk undermining public support because of high prices and volatility. And I think, public support for climate action, which I think is critical because once you lose this public support, it's very hard to get back. So I think for policymakers, and I saw this, I was at the COP meeting, I saw it there, you saw it in the G20 Leaders Summit in Rome. The policymakers are starting to get this, and they're moving a little bit more carefully and cautiously. We have to have an orderly transition. We can't have a disruptive transition because you do something on one side of the ledger, something pops up on the other side.
A lot of people also are worried about all this being not inclusive. And at the end, who will pay for this?
Yeah, of course. The developing world is just as important as the developed world. And something we talked about at my panel today was that really every country, there's not a one-size-fits-all solution for every country. The net zero roadmap is not necessarily the roadmap for country A versus country B. They have to follow their own unique circumstances and their own pathways using their own resources. And I think that's the most important thing we have to recognize. There's no one-size-fits-all solution. Everybody has to have the goal in sight and accomplish it in their own way. And I think that's happening. There's definitely a recognition there. But, you can electrify parts of Europe, but you can't electrify parts of Africa. The infrastructure is just not the same in terms of maturity.
One of the challenges also is the financial aspect and attracting investments in the energy, this whole transition thing. What will oil and gas industry need to do to attract high levels of investments for the next decades?
Well, I think you're already seeing it. I think there's a recognition that even these forecasts for very aggressive climate scenarios are showing that oil and gas is going to be, a major part of our energy demand picture in decades forward. So we have to have the investment in the sector. so that we can avoid the volatility and supply crunches. And I think, if you're a policymaker, you want to make sure that this investment takes place, because again, it goes back to public support for climate change. If people all of a sudden are paying higher prices, regardless of what the reason is behind it, I think it will undermine. Yeah, they're just going to associate it with this is a part of the energy transition, and it's not necessarily the case. But I think we have to be careful that we don't lose public support for climate action. That's my biggest concern.
How does it feel to come back here to meet everybody face to face after 2 challenging years? And how important is to host such event as ADIPEC after COP26 and to continue the momentum?
Well, I think it's really important, and I think it was really important, the timing. I don't know that it was set up this way to happen so closely after the COP meeting, but you can never replace everyone getting together and networking and talking. And I heard a lot of talk here about solutions, not bemoaning what may have happened at COP or people, no, yeah, no, I think it was very useful, and people were focused on being part of the solution and not part of the problem.